Well, what's good? What's good? What's good? It's your man Chris Jones, NoVACAIN Kennels. This right here is a touchy topic, man. This topic a lot of people don't want to talk about. And when, most people hear about this topic, they seem to become animal rights activists all of a sudden. But those same people would turn around and call a severely deformed dog badass. And you know, and I'm speaking for my American bully community, or to the American bully community, first off. So my topic is culling. And culling doesn't automatically mean, put down, put out of the misery, put them to sleep. Culling stands for, just removing those undesirable characteristics, them undesirable traits, them undesirable things that hurt a breed and that shouldn't be bred into a breed. Now with the American bully, there are many dogs that need to be culled by actually putting them down, because these dogs are obviously severely deformed to where their quality of life is going to be affected. Too many times, we see these dogs that are severely deformed that shouldn't be able to reproduce, being purchased for a high dollar point because the breeder put a high price tag on it and then sells it to somebody, and then that person thinks because they spent that much money they need to buy another dog that's like it to breed more puppies with severe deformities. In that type of situation, that's when the culling of actually putting an animal down needs to be taken. Because if the animal has elbows that pop out of socket, its muzzle is so short that it's having a hard time breathing, the rear is so high that it's having a hard time walking, the legs are so short with so much mass on, it has a hard time standing. Those type of animals, in my opinion, need to be culled. Now, if you have an animal who doesn't meet the breed standard, or has a seriously high rib, but it's still a fairly healthy dog, those dogs need to be culled as well. But those dogs need to be culled by spay or neuter. There are two forms of culling. One, spay and neuter. Two, to put down. I think a lot of people in this American bully community don't want to talk about culling because they have to really start to look at their yard to see if a lot of them animals need to be culled out of the gene pool, which I feel yes. In the last 3 litters that I had, which were litters of 12 puppies each, which gave me a total of 36 puppies, 80% of those dogs actually were culled in some form. Excuse me. And the form that they were culled in were spay and neuter. Yeah, a lot of them could have been good breeding stock dogs, but a lot of them carried some type of characteristic that I didn't want reproduced in my own bloodline or my own line of dogs, my own family of dogs. So I chose to have those animals culled so they couldn't reproduce into any dogs or lines or anything. And then out of those 36 puppies, I had only one puppy that I actually had to take to a vet to have him culled by putting them down. This dog had a deformity with his leg and a deformity with its jaw. But the leg, okay, the dog could have survived with the leg and had a happy life with someone. But the jaw is where the issue really came in. The dog was having a hard time nursing. So I had to make the responsible decision as a breeder to put that dog down. Talking with the vet, my vet said, man, we could try surgery, but still there's no guarantee that this issue is going to be fixed. The issue was the dog's tongue, for some odd reason, was extremely long and curled back into the puppy's throat. So me being a responsible person, taking care of my stock first, not caring what other people say or think, I went ahead and put that dog down because I didn't want to risk that dog being placed out with someone and dying on them, or I didn't want to risk keeping that dog and that dog dying on us after we become attached to that animal. I don't understand why culling is what people call the elephant in the room. You know, in my opinion, a lot of these topics need to be talked about, especially in the American bully community, to help fix a lot of the issues that's going on. I understand that, you know, it's a very sensitive topic to a lot of people. But I need you sensitive people to understand this is a topic that must be addressed in the community. We can't continue to allow people to breed any and everything. And then we can't allow people to turn around and call any and every deformity badass. I was watching Animal Planet, and they got some weird series going on where they're showing severely deformed animals. And it saddens me that people would breed, and then these dogs, like the one that has the hunchback of Notre Dame back and short spine and no neck, and, you know, just really messed up. It saddens me that a breeder would actually let that animal live and go out into the world. And that's not the only one. I mean, there's other dogs, like a boxer that walks on his front legs, and, you know, the rear end. I mean, that stuff, man, that saddens me, and it upsets me that breeders, not just an American bully, but the American bully does it the worst and the most, man, don't call, man. They don't take these dogs out of the gene pool. And yeah, before anybody starts to say, well, there's nothing wrong with those dogs, you know, they just might need extra medical care. Really? Really, man? So it's nothing wrong with a dog that needs to be on medication daily, yearly? I mean, do you know what that stuff do to people? Do you know what that stuff do to animals? It shortens the life expectancy. Yeah, the dog may seem a little happy and all that extra good stuff, but still, as a breeder, I'm ashamed to say that people put dogs out like that. And as a breeder of the American bully, I'm ashamed to say that a lot of people in my community produce dogs like that on purpose. You know, I'm not going to talk too much longer on this topic, man, but culling is a tool that is underutilized. Whether the form of culling is actually spaying and neutering a dog and placing it out into a pet home or with family members, or keeping it yourself, or culling dogs because the dogs are severely deformed and they're actually going to have a life of pain. So those dogs that are severely deformed need to be put down. I don't understand why people sell those dogs at a high dollar point at that, and then feel comfortable to say, yeah, they produced it. That's not showing that you're a good breeder when you produce animals like that. It's plain and simple. I really don't know what more I can say about that. People really need to start thinking about how they're producing these animals, what animals need to be called by spay and neuter, and what animals need to be called by putting them down so these animals don't get out here into someone's home and they get attached to them and the dog dies on them. Because then you're playing with families, and you're playing with families' emotions. And as a breeder, I don't want to be the one who gets blamed for an animal that someone bought from me and it turns around and dies in 2 years because the animal should have been put down in the beginning.